Imagine a sunny afternoon in your favorite small town, where the scent of freshly baked bread mingles with the rustle of leaves in a gentle breeze. There, at the corner cafe, you look up and see a woman whose presence feels both familiar and extraordinary. Her laughter lines trace stories of joy. Her eyes shine with compassion. Her posture radiates confidence. That woman is Barbara Niven. And at 72, she's living proof that age is merely a number, not a limitation. Today, she moves through life with an energy that defies expectations, a beauty rooted in kindness and purpose rather than youth alone, and a passion for acting, philanthropy, and reinvention that shows no sign of slowing down. You may remember Barbara from her breakthrough role as a determined detective on CSI, Crime Scene Investigation, or as a feisty mother on one of the countless Hallmark movies that have warmed living rooms around the world. Maybe you first spotted her in a 1980s soap opera, her name still shimmering on opening credits as women tuned in with a mix of admiration and envy. But those early roles are only the prologue to a career defined by resilience, versatility, and a heart as wide as her smile. Through decades of Hollywood's high tides and heartbreaks, Barbara navigated casting directors' whims and industry stereotypes, steadily carving out a path that honored both her artistic gifts and her fierce dedication to living with integrity. Born Barbara Lee in Hollywood, California, in November 1953, she entered the world at a time when the movie studio system still loomed large and screen goddesses reigned supreme. Yet Barbara's earliest memories are grounded in a modest childhood in Oxnard, where her father drove trucks for a living and her mother taught kindergarten. Family vacations meant camping by the Pacific, jigsaw puzzles on rainy days, and homemade dinner table theater, where young Barbara would slip into characters with an uncanny ease. I was always the kid putting on shows, she remembers. I had this insatiable curiosity about people, how they speak, how they move, how their stories unfold. It was that curiosity, paired with a natural stage presence, that led her to audition for high school plays, regional commercials, and eventually college theater productions at UC Santa Barbara. Graduating with a degree in drama, Barbara set her sights on Los Angeles, determined but unprepared for the roller coaster that awaited. Her first months in town were filled with small roles: an extra in a beach party movie, a waitress in a sitcom, a featured dancer in a period drama. Each job paid little, required long hours, but taught invaluable lessons. How to read a room, how to hone a character in 5 minutes of screen time, how to maintain grace when scenes were cut or scripts rewritten. She lived in a cramped apartment with two roommates, shared groceries and hopes, and learned that patience often meant hanging in there when every audition seemed to close a door rather than open one. But her break came in the early 1990s. Cast as a recurring character on a daytime drama, Barbara discovered a surge of confidence and fan mail that hinted at something bigger. Soon, she auditioned for CSI and landed the role of the no-nonsense detective Janice Powell. Viewers loved her blend of toughness and warmth, the way she comforted victims yet pursued clues with unflinching determination. With each episode, Barbara's star brightened. She became a touchstone for audiences craving smart, anchored female characters. Yet when the series arc ended, she faced the dreaded post-CSI crossroads: accept typecasting, chase blockbuster fame, or reinvent her career once more. Choosing reinvention, Barbara pivoted to the Hallmark Channel, embracing its comforting tone and loyal viewers. Over the next decade, she starred in more than 20 holiday romances, family dramas, and feel-good mysteries. Titles like A Christmas Wish, Harvest Love, and Mystery by Moonlight became annual traditions, her face a welcome sight as viewers sipped cocoa and settled under blankets. But even as she charmed audiences, Barbara challenged herself. She produced several of these films, negotiated storylines that highlighted mature love, and advocated for richer roles for women over 50. In featurettes, she spoke of the importance of representation. There's something powerful about seeing love and adventure at any age, she said. It tells people life doesn't end when your hair turns silver, it evolves. Off-screen, Barbara's life brimmed with purpose beyond acting. An animal lover since childhood, she volunteered at shelters, fostered dogs and cats, and championed spay-neuter programs. In 2005, she founded the Brightland Animal Sanctuary, turning a donated plot of land in Ventura County into a haven for rescued farm animals. Visitors describe a pastoral wonderland where goats nuzzle hands, rescued horses roam free, and retired chickens peck contentedly. Barbara personally oversees medical care, adoption events, and educational tours for local schools. Each rescue story reflects her belief that every life, human or animal, deserves dignity and compassion. Saving one soul at a time, she says, changes the world more than you can imagine. Barbara's commitment to wellness evolved in tandem with her philanthropic work. In her early 50s, she embraced holistic health, diving into yoga, meditation, and plant-based nutrition. Rather than chasing fad diets, she consulted nutritionists and historians, exploring ancient grains and herbs used by civilizations that thrived into their 70s and beyond. Today, her morning routine begins with a brisk walk among citrus groves, a smoothie rich in turmeric and spinach, and a gratitude practice that sets her intention for the day. She credits this disciplined gentleness, for both body and mind, with her ability to juggle acting, producing, and sanctuary management without burning out. Self-care isn't selfish, she often reminds followers on her social media. It's the foundation for everything you want to give back. Then came the most daring chapter yet, a memoir. At age 68, Barbara surprised many by announcing the launch of Stages of My Soul, a candid book weaving tales of Hollywood auditions, sanctuary rescues, spiritual awakenings, and the heartbreak of a marriage that ended quietly in her 40s. The memoir didn't dwell on scandal but on growth. How a broken engagement taught her boundaries, how setbacks on set taught persistence, how late nights in the barn with injured lambs taught patience. Early reviews praised its warmth and honesty, fans praised its relatable wisdom, and bookstores reported sold-out launch events. Barbara accompanied the release with an intimate book tour. No red carpets or shouting crowds, just small venues where she read passages, answered questions, and listened to audience reflections. Many said they'd never felt so seen by a celebrity. It was like hearing from a lifelong friend. One attendee wrote, "Today, at 72, Barbara stands at a crossroads again, this time between the familiar comforts of acting and the allure of new adventures." She's set to co-star in an indie film about a grandmother who uncovers family secrets during a cross-country road trip, and she's developing a documentary on animal sanctuaries worldwide. She mentors young actors through online masterclasses and guest lectures at her alma mater. She launched a small line of eco-friendly home goods, hand-woven blankets from rescued sheep, beeswax candles from her sanctuary hives, that donates all proceeds to wildlife conservation. Each project reflects a seamless weaving of her passions, storytelling, compassion, and environmental stewardship. When you next see Barbara Niven on screen, or perhaps walking down the street in a relaxed cardigan and sun hat, notice the effortless grace in each step. Notice the sparkle in her smile when she talks about her next rescue, her conviction when she speaks on behalf of animals, her spark when she recalls a breakout scene from decades ago. She challenges your assumptions that youth is the sole measure of worth, that stars fade quietly, that reinvention is reserved for the young. At 72, Barbara Niven isn't resting on her laurels. She's writing fresh chapters, inspiring countless others to embrace every age with courage and kindness. Try not to gasp when you see her today. Instead, let her journey remind you that life's biggest roles often come with silver hair, seasoned hearts, and unwavering purpose. In recent years, Barbara Niven has repeatedly surprised fans and colleagues by diving headfirst into new creative ventures, proving that her passion for storytelling and advocacy only intensifies with time. After the warm reception of her memoir, Stages of My Soul, she found herself fielding invitations to speak at universities, women's leadership conferences, and even corporate retreats seeking her insights on resilience, reinvention, and purpose-driven living. Never one to rest on her public persona alone, Barbara shaped each appearance as an interactive workshop rather than a podium performance, encouraging attendees to journal their own narratives, identify turning points, and chart an evolution map for personal goals. Audiences were struck by the seamless blend of her Hollywood anecdotes with grounded, life-tested exercises. One minute they were hearing tales of late-night dashes between sets. The next, they were setting smart objectives for sanctuary expansion or embarking on a fresh chapter in their careers. By weaving her story into practical takeaways, Barbara underscored her belief that inspiration without action is simply idle admiration. Off the stage, she channeled that same energetic curiosity into a major renovation of her Oxnard-era childhood home, transforming it into the Niven Creative Studio. What began as a modest plan, add a reading nook here, install better lighting there, grew into a full-fledged incubator for emerging artists. The studio's open-plan design houses a small theater with retractable seating, a screening room equipped with vintage projector gear, and a communal workshop area lined with easels, musical instruments, and cameras. Each month, Barbara hosts themed residencies. One weekend might focus on playwriting, the next on dance improvisation. She personally curates guest mentors, playwrights she met on Broadway, documentary filmmakers she befriended at festivals, even animal behaviorists who share insights on nonverbal communication. The magic of these residencies lies in interdisciplinary cross-pollination. A novelist finds inspiration in a choreographer's movement sequence, a filmmaker sparks an idea for a one-act play, and an actor experiments with documentary techniques to deepen character work. The result is a vibrant ecosystem where creativity thrives beyond the constraints of any single medium. Of course, none of this activity diminishes Barbara's continuing devotion to her beloved animal sanctuary. In fact, the Brightland Animal Sanctuary has grown in tandem with her public-facing endeavors. Under her guidance, the sanctuary expanded its capacity by constructing an on-site veterinary clinic, complete with a surgical suite and a rehabilitation ward for rescued wildlife. Barbara frequently shares stories, without embellishment, of injured birds nursed back to flight, of orphan lambs recovering strength under gentle hoof trims, and of once anxious horses learning to trust among rolling pastures. She insists on conducting weekly rounds herself, not merely for PR fodder, but because she finds profound solace in the animals' unhurried rhythms. During one memorable stormy night, she recounted spending hours in the clinic corridor, reading aloud to a shivering kitten until its purrs grew louder than the rain. That quiet dedication, she says, teaches me more about empathy and resilience than any movie role ever could. Alongside physical expansions, Barbara has spearheaded digital initiatives to broaden the sanctuary's reach. The Brightland Live platform streams real-time footage from selected enclosures, accompanied by narrated segments explaining species behavior, rescue histories, and conservation challenges. Subscribers can adopt virtual guardianships, receiving monthly updates, photos, and video diaries from the farm. For schools in underserved areas, she offers free educational modules, interactive lessons on ecosystems, animal welfare careers, and STEM connections inspired by sanctuary operations. Teachers report that students previously disengaged with textbook biology become animated when they see a rescued goat learning to walk again, or when they follow a sea turtle release on screen. Barbara views this digital bridge as an extension of her mission to cultivate compassion and curiosity in hearts far beyond her immediate community. Meanwhile, Barbara's screen career remains as lively as ever. Fresh off acclaimed supporting turns in two independent features, a poetic family drama set on Nantucket, and a tightly wound thriller filmed in the Scottish Highlands. She is now in pre-production for a prestige historical miniseries that chronicles the life of a pioneering aviatrix in the 1930s. In this role, Barbara will portray the aviatrix's intrepid grandmother, a character whose steely determination and warm humor once guided her granddaughter through turbulent skies. To prepare, Barbara immersed herself in aviation archives, studied period diaries, and trained in vintage flight simulators to capture the posture and poise of women who navigated early cockpit controls. Insiders whisper that her scenes, brief yet pivotal, bring a multi-generational depth that elevates the entire series, demonstrating that seasoned actors can anchor narratives in ways no CGI or marquee billing ever could. Equally noteworthy is Barbara's evolving relationship with the Hallmark Channel. Having become one of its most recognizable faces over the past decade, she now collaborates as an executive producer, helping shape storylines to offer greater nuance and authenticity. She has championed adaptations of novels by authors of color, insisted on casting diverse leads, and pushed scripts to explore mature romantic themes. Relationships painted not merely in pastel perfection, but acknowledging real-world complexities like blended families, career pivots, and the ripple effects of past loss. One upcoming film, slated for release next winter, tells the story of a widowed innkeeper who rediscovers love through an unlikely friendship with a visiting musician battling stage fright. As both lead actor and guiding force behind the scenes, Barbara worked closely with the screenwriter to ensure the portrayal of grief and healing felt honest and resonant. Early test screenings received standing ovations, and viewers who grew up watching her as a detective or soap star remarked on how deeply moved they were by this more layered storytelling. Amid all these professional pursuits, Barbara's personal life reflects a deepening embrace of mindfulness and balance. She speaks candidly about her daily practices, a pre-dawn gratitude meditation followed by gentle yoga flows in her garden, organic knitting sessions with childhood friends, and afternoons spent practicing calligraphy, an art she believes cultivates patience and focus. She approaches her calendar with the same discerning eye she once applied to scripts, deliberately blocking off white space to prevent overcommitment and preserve moments of spontaneous creativity. Her children, grown now and charting their own paths, often pop in for family dinners featuring vegetables from her on-site greenhouse, legumes sprouted in her urban windowsill jars, and freshly baked sourdough loaves. Evenings might end with storytelling circles around a reclaimed barnwood table, where tales of past rescues mingle with recollections of old TV shoots, uniting generations under one roof. Perhaps the most poignant testament to Barbara's ever-unfolding journey is her decision to embrace social media on her own terms. After years of offering only scripted updates for projects, she now maintains a personal account where she posts moments of mundane magic. A snapshot of sunlight through a greenhouse window, a brief clip of lambs racing through dew-drenched fields at dawn, or a simple reel of her grandmother teaching her how to knead bread dough. The engagement is heartfelt and modest. No heavily curated brand campaigns, no clickbait headlines, just sincere reflections that invite followers to slow down, notice beauty in the everyday, and act with kindness. Through likes and comments, people share how these small glimpses inspire them to start their own gardens, adopt animals in need, or simply pause for 5 deep breaths during hectic days. For Barbara, this digital connection feels like a natural evolution of her career, a way to continue the conversation, spark community, and demonstrate that the heart of storytelling resides as much in quiet authenticity as in scripted drama to in lesser hands. Juggling acting roles, mentorship programs, sanctuary management, creative studio residencies, and mindful living practices would feel overwhelming. Yet Barbara Niven makes it look effortless, an embodiment of the very message she shares with every workshop, book, and interview. That purpose and passion are not fleeting states, but ongoing commitments. She often reminds aspiring artists and activists alike, your story matters, and it's never too late to turn the page. At 72, she is living proof that chapters can begin, end, or take surprising detours at any age. As you reflect on her journey, from soap operas to crime dramas, from rescued animals to rescued dreams, remember that Barbara Niven's life remains a work in progress, guided by curiosity, compassion, and a steadfast refusal to let labels define her. As dusk settles over the rolling fields of Brightland Animal Sanctuary, Barbara Niven pauses for a moment of reflection. At 72, she's learned that the most meaningful projects don't always come with loud applause. Instead, her quiet evenings, tending to the sanctuary's gentle residents, poring over letters from aspiring actors, or simply enjoying a cup of herbal tea on the farmhouse porch, are equally powerful chapters in her ongoing story. The laughter of rescued goats, the soft nuzzles of rehabilitated horses, the steady purrs of rescued kittens remind her daily that small acts of compassion have ripple effects far beyond any screen performance. After decades navigating Hollywood's ebb and flow, Barbara sees that her greatest role is the one that never required script approval. Meanwhile, her creative studio pulses with fresh energy as artists from all walks convene beneath sunlit rafters. One afternoon, a young playwright experiments with dialogue in the workshop corner as a seasoned dancer improvises alongside her. A short documentary filmmaker sets up cameras to capture it all, while Barbara circulates between groups, offering insights gleaned from years on set and in the sanctuary's stall-lined corridors. Her guidance is gentle yet incisive. She encourages risks, champions vulnerability, and reminds participants that every misstep is a lesson. Observers say that her presence unites disparate disciplines, forging a sense of shared purpose that transforms each workshop into both rehearsal and refuge. In the realm of film, Barbara continues to demonstrate her chameleon-like skill. Her role as the empathetic matriarch in an upcoming indie drama set against the backdrop of the Pacific Northwest is already generating buzz. Critics who viewed early dailies praised the subtle fortitude she brings to scenes charged with sibling tension and unspoken regrets. Behind the scenes, millennial co-stars marvel at Barbara's ability to seamlessly balance authority and approachability. 1 minute offering technical pointers about blocking, the next modeling a spontaneous improv to spark genuine reactions. Her on-set mantra, borrowed from years in crime dramas and cozy mysteries, is simple: root every moment in truth. And in a business often chasing the next big trend, her steadfast commitment to authenticity resonates more than ever. Barbara's influence extends far beyond film sets and studios. She recently lent her voice to a high-profile environmental campaign focusing on plastic pollution in the oceans. Recorded in a minimalist sound booth, her narration carries the same warmth and gravitas that made her Hallmark performances so beloved. When viewers hear her recount stories of sea turtles ensnared in discarded nets or dolphins navigating increasingly crowded coastlines, they feel moved to act. Social media response to the campaign spiked dramatically. Donations surged, volunteer sign-ups increased, and policymakers cited the campaign in hearings. For Barbara, this project was more than a job, it was a calling. She believes that storytelling, whether through nuanced family dramas or urgent ecological pleas, has the power to reshape public conscience. Even she admits to moments of self-doubt. When the world expected her to slow down or embrace retirement, Barbara instead charted a course that surprised everyone, including herself. There were days when the weight of multiple responsibilities, creative, personal, humanitarian, felt overwhelming. But she turned inward, drawing strength from mindfulness practices and the sanctuary's rhythms. She reminds herself that resilience isn't about enduring alone, but about leaning on community, be it the boisterous bleats of rescued sheep, the gentle counsel of longtime creative collaborators, or the encouraging messages of fans who've grown with her career. These connections, she often says, are the invisible threads that hold the tapestry of her life together, weaving through every era with unbreakable integrity. Looking ahead, Barbara's enthusiasm for new experiences remains undiminished. This spring, she's planning a cross-country book tour combined with sanctuary pop-up events, where readers can meet her rescued animals and hear behind-the-scenes tales from her life in Hollywood. She's also exploring a scholarship fund for drama students who demonstrate both talent and service acumen, a nod to her belief that artistic excellence and compassionate engagement go hand in hand. And on personal weekends, you might find her bicycling along coastal trails, learning beginner Korean through a language app, or collaborating with her adult children on a travel diary podcast. In each endeavor, she seeks opportunities not only to grow but to uplift others, cementing her reputation as a connector at heart. In reflecting on decades of transformation, Barbara often returns to a simple mantra: be curious, be kind, be courageous. It's painted in flowing script above her desk, a daily reminder that learning never stops and compassion is vital fuel for the creative spirit. When asked what advice she'd offer to her 19-year-old self, she pauses thoughtfully before saying, "I'd tell her not to fear the empty script, but to fill it with her own voice. To embrace uncertainty as the canvas for imagination." That same wisdom underlies every choice she makes today. Choosing projects that challenge her, relationships that ground her, and causes that expand the boundaries of her heart. As the final curtain nears on this chapter of her life, Barbara Niven stands not at an ending, but at a threshold to untold possibilities. The roles she's written, the lives she's touched, and the ecosystems she's nurtured all converge into a legacy of empathy and artistry. While the world may gasp at seeing her still radiant at 72, Barbara knows that every silver strand and every gentle line tells a story of courage, endurance, and love. She invites you to witness her journey, not as a passive observer, but as a co-author of your own story. After all, if one woman can reinvent herself decade after decade, surely each of us can find unexpected brilliance in the years ahead. Now, with every scene she embraces and every life she uplifts, Barbara Niven reminds us that our stories remain unwritten until we dare to share them. So seek out her latest films, follow her sanctuary's journey, and let her enduring spirit inspire your next act. Age is no barrier. Your best performance may still lie beyond the next page.